Heavenly Love Portal revealed on July 31st. Divine transformation awaiting through Venus in Cancer. In the quaint rural village nestled among rolling hills, the news swept through the air like a gentle breeze, whispers of a heavenly event that promised divine love and transformation. As Mary gazed beyond her window, the sun dipped low, casting a warm golden hue. Yet her heart was heavy, each day weighed down by the struggles of dwindling finances and her husband's relentless battle with addiction. The shadows were growing longer in their home. Gathered in the small church that sparkled under the glow of the setting sun, families clasped hands in fervent prayer. Mary's heart fluttered with doubt as she listened to their beloved priest's voice tremble slightly, betraying his own uncertainty about the miracles that could come with the celestial event. Hope danced on the edges of their faith, but Mary felt a chasm of skepticism beneath her feet. Each gentle tug in her heart reminded her of the purity in her children's eyes, their innocence untouched by the fears that haunted her mind. In that sacred space, she opened herself to God. Patron saints of hope and restoration, she whispered through clenched teeth, "Please grant clarity and healing." The words flowed from her like water from an everlasting well, desperate and yearning. Just days before the fateful alignment, the village's heart arose with excitement as whispers of an ancient relic resurfaced. Tucked away in history seemed to promise miraculous wonders, tales of healing, love rekindled, and families restored echoed among the townsfolk. It sparked a flicker of hope in Mary, awakening a flame that flickered timidly against the storm of doubt. She knew what she had to do: host a vigil, bringing together the community in prayer to light candles as beacons of hope. As the night deepened on the eve of the vigil, the air thickened with anticipation. Candles flickered like stars reborn anew, illuminating faces filled with expectancy. "God," Mary breathed, "we're ready." Moments of silence drifted by, representing not absence but the gathering of collective faith. Then, suddenly, as if the heavens themselves had conspired in her favor, the church was aglow, brilliant light spilling from the stained glass and forming a soft halo around the altar. After the moment of stillness came a roar of faith. Mary, emboldened and full of divine fire, declared her prophetic calling. Words flowed from her mouth like a rushing river, touching each heart in the congregation. Tensions melted like wax before the flame, and the very air hummed with potential. Even her husband, sitting blessedly in the back, felt the nudge of courage course through him. After years of darkness, he stood up, seeking redemption at last. But with this divine shift came more questions than answers. Had the relic worked its magic, or was it Mary's unwavering faith that fanned the flames of transformation? As the village buzzed with renewed belief, she wrestled with the deeper meaning of this divine calling amid her friends' persistent doubts. Before we continue, I need to tell you about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system, and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, click the bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can leave a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, tell me in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. The night of the cosmic event loomed closer, casting shadows of tension among the villagers. Could Mary's faith bridge the gap between doubt and belief? As she contemplated the mystery ahead, she understood that the stakes were high. With destinies entwining in the fabric of their lives, would the village embrace the divine love they so desperately sought? The answer rested on the cusp of an awakening, and in her heart, Mary felt the thrilling promise of possibilities yet to unfold. As dawn broke on July 31st, the villagers awoke with a palpable sense of expectancy. Murmurs bubbled over from porch to porch, alive with the magic of the anticipated celestial event. The sun spilled its light over the landscape, brightening the village as if beckoning the divine to descend upon them. Mary felt a restless energy coursing through her veins as though the heavens themselves prepared to unveil wonders beyond imagination. In the church, an unusual buzz filled the air. Villagers gathered, their eyes wide with anticipation, their hearts drawn together in shared purpose. Mary could feel that same flicker of hope lining her chest, urging her forward. She stepped into the center of the pulpit, her heart racing. A silence fell over the congregation, and all eyes turned towards her, seeking guidance and reassurance. Brothers and sisters, she began, her voice steady with newfound conviction, we stand on the brink of something extraordinary today. The cosmic alignment symbolizes more than just an astronomical event. It speaks of love, transformation, and the healing power of our faith. Today, let's open our hearts to receive what the universe has in store. At her words, the air shimmered. Vibrations seemed to pulse throughout the church, touching each villager and resonating with the very fabric of their souls. Even as she spoke, she sensed the deeper significance of this moment, a divinely ordained shift where old attachments could break and new beginnings could flourish. Tears glistened in the eyes of those present. Families held one another tighter. Hope rekindled in weary hearts, the kind of hope that blooms when it faces despair, transforming it into a vibrant canvas of possibility. Mary looked around, catching glimpses of familiar faces, each wearing expressions of mixed wonder and apprehension. She called for them to join hands, forming a circle that encompassed the room. Let us pray together, united in one spirit, for love that conquers fear and restoration for what has been lost. As they bowed their heads, the flicker of candle flames danced wildly, echoing the fervor of their prayers. The whispered intentions carried upwards, swirling towards the heavens. Each soul rose like fragrant incense, intermingling and weaving together their collective plea for healing, love, and divine intervention spiraling into the air. Then, in a moment suspended in time, Mary felt a rush of warmth. The world around her faded, and she was pulled into a vision of a beautiful garden bathed in golden light, bursting with life. Here was a message. The divine reached out, ready to pour out blessings like a torrential rain. She could almost hear a gentle whisper urging her to trust, even when everything felt uncertain. Emerging from the vision, Mary found tears streaming down her face. The villagers began to murmur, the energy of the room shifting, expectant yet tranquil. Could this be the moment? Someone wondered aloud. Could we witness the transformation our hearts have longed for? But just as hope swelled like a tidal wave, a knot of fear gripped Mary's heart. Would the divine truly manifest in the way they all yearned for? What if the promises of love and healing turned out differently, as life often twisted into unexpected shapes? With courage blossoming within her, she raised her hands wide, welcoming all the possibilities, a cosmic invitation ready to align with their hearts. Whether today brings joy or challenges, she cried, her voice ringing like a bell, we are here together, in faith and in love. Let this portal of divine connection guide us. With those words echoing in the sacred space, a bright light suddenly filled the church, drawing gasps from the congregation. Was this the beginning of a true transformation, or just the ethereal games of hopeful hearts? In that moment, everything changed. What would this light reveal, and could it truly transform their lives forever? The light enveloped the church, a warm and radiant glow that cascaded through the stained glass windows, painting the walls with hues of gold and crimson. Mary stood at the pulpit, her heart pounding, eyes wide with awe. It wasn't a blinding light, but a gentle illumination, inviting and tender, like a parent wrapping their child in a protective embrace. That warmth resonated with hope, igniting something vibrant within her and those around her. Gasps and murmurs filled the air, a chorus of wonder echoing off the walls. Can you feel it? Someone breathed, as the light brightened even more, transforming the congregation into a living tapestry of faith and potential. Mary felt the warmth seep into her, especially where doubts had taken root. She closed her eyes briefly, centering herself. She was not leading an event. She was standing within a sacred moment, a bridge between the divine and the earthly. Opening her eyes again, she looked out at the villagers, now bathed in this divine light, and felt an overwhelming love enveloping them all. "Take a deep breath," she urged, raising her arms. "Breathe in this moment, this love. Let fill your hearts until you overflow." They obeyed, inhaling deeply, eyes closed, letting the atmosphere wash over them. The energy seemed to shift, vibrations dancing lightly in the air. It was as if the church itself was pulsating with life, every wood beam and stone tinged with palpable spirit. The murmurs became a soft hum, lifting their prayers higher. As Mary watched them, she noticed her friend Thomas, who had long struggled to believe in the goodness of life. He looked up, eyes shimmering, reflecting both confusion and clarity, the light sparking something deep within. "Believe, Thomas," she called out, feeling the encouragement of the moment flow through her. "This is a gift for you and all of us. Release your doubt. Let it fall away like autumn leaves." His expression softened, surrendering to the beautiful possibility. Around him, others began to share their own burdens. Old worries, regrets, and fears started to dissolve, floating away on echoed whispers of prayer. The atmosphere thickened with palpable anticipation. "Look," Mary exclaimed, pointing to the rays of light shifting and swirling above them. "It's becoming brighter. The portal is opening." Was the divine showing us? With each heartbeat, the light intensified, transforming the world outside the windows, a celestial canvas ever brightening. The air around them felt electric, each inhalation tasting like sweet nectar. She saw tears running down cheeks, hands clasped in prayer, eyes closed in reverent anticipation. The villagers were no longer mere spectators. They were participants in the unfolding miracle. Suddenly, a voice clear, like a bell ringing, echoed through the church. "Embrace the healing. Embrace the love. For today, your spirits will be revived." The words resonated deep within Mary's heart. Was this voice really an outer calling or an inner awakening? She could hardly tell, as the essence of that divine message seemed to rise from them all, interlaced with their yearning. "Receive it now. Do not hold back," she cried, the passion flowing through her. "Let this love transform you." And before them, the light expanded to reveal what looked like shimmering hues of color swirling within the air. It danced above the altar, forming shapes of unity, hope, and forgiveness. They could see figures those who had loved them and left, ancestors and kindred spirits inviting them toward connection, extending hands that glowed with light. Mary's heart swelled. It wasn't just a vision, it was a communion, a deep connection of spirit binding them to each other and to the divine. But then a thought crept in what was asked of them now. What would unfold next? In their collective gaze toward the light, someone whispered, "Will we truly be changed by this?" Those words hung in the air, trembling with the weight of possibility. As divine mysteries awaited revelation, the villagers held their breath, hearts yearning to grasp whatever came next. What awaited them at this threshold of transformation? What lay beyond that radiant expanse? The stillness enveloped the church, yet inside buzzed an energy that quickened the pulse. Each person sat on the edge of their faith, waiting for something sacred to unfold. Mary could sense the expectation. It hung heavy in the air, full of prayers and desires. The glow seemed to whisper to her heart, urging her to guide them deeper. "Close your eyes," she invited, her voice tender and steady. "We are stepping into a sacred dance. Let us breathe together, deeply and slowly inhale and exhale the heaviness. Inhale love, exhale doubt." As they followed her lead, she felt the gentle power of their breaths intertwining, creating a harmony that echoed throughout the church. It was as if the very walls joined them in their supplication, vibrating with hope. The light above them began to swirl, spiraling into a vortex of colors, each hue pulsating with a life of its own. Mary opened her eyes once more, and her breath caught in her throat as she witnessed the transformation taking place. Shapes appeared within the glow, not merely figures, but manifestations of Faith the Seraphim, radiant beings she had only glimpsed in dreams. Their wings shone like diamonds, sending ripples of joy cascading through the congregation. "See them," she exclaimed, excitement bubbling within her. "They are here. They are among us, lifting our prayers higher." Around her, heads turned upward, eyes widening in awe, Thomas stood transfixed, his fear dissolving with each flutter of the celestial wings. "Is this real?" he whispered, voice laced with reverence. "It is as real as the love that flows between us," Mary replied, heart alight with understanding. "Embrace it." A wave of warmth surged through the room. Each heart opened further, releasing the burdens they had carried. Kendra, a woman whose husband had passed, wept as she felt an embrace stronger than grief, an embrace of peace and connection to love that never truly leaves. "Feel that?" Mary said softly. "It's their love, wrapping around you like a blanket. You're never alone. None of us are." The villagers were no longer just witnesses. They had become part of something far greater. The ethereal beings began to dance, bright tendrils of light weaving among the congregation. Elders clutched their canes, hearts racing with youthful vigor, while children laughed in delight, unafraid and alive in spirit. "Let your heart be open," Mary cried, swept away by the moment. "For healing is here. Whatever has held you back, release it now. Forgive, and allow yourself to be forgiven." The congregation began to chant, voices rising like incense, forming a powerful tapestry of sound. "We are one. We are loved. We are transformed." Reverberations echoed, stirring the very walls of the church. Yet, just when it seemed a culmination of divine transformation was at hand, the swirling colors above began to pulse with urgency. Mary's heart raced. What did this mean? Why the sudden shift? "Wait, what is happening?" someone called out, a mix of confusion and fear. The light dimmed slightly and then twisted in a new direction, its energy seemingly beckoning. It illustrated a path, a step beyond this illuminated embrace, inviting them to trust even deeper. It was a call to not only receive love, but to share it, to act upon it in the world beyond the church. Mary felt the weight of that charge resting upon her shoulders. Will we rise to the occasion? She pondered aloud, sensing that the direction demanding her attention was not merely for herself, but for them all. Will we carry this light as we leave? The villagers gazed at her, their collective breath held in anticipation, hearts quickening with divine possibility. In that transient moment, the light revealed a glimpse of what lay ahead, a vibrant reality fraught with challenges, yet bursting with promise. "Prepare for the next step," she whispered, more to herself, the fullness of anticipation surging within. What awaits us just beyond the light? This question lingered in the air, leaving their hearts open and minds racing, curious of the divine call to love, to serve, and perhaps to transform the world. What awaited them at the other side of this golden portal? As the vibrant light swelled and pulsed above the congregation, Mary felt the electrifying shift in energy. It was as if the air itself had become thicker with anticipation, laden with an unspoken promise. The seraphim danced in a joyful display above, their ethereal laughter echoing softly in the hearts of those present, becoming a gentle nudge towards action. "Take that light with you," she urged, her voice rising above the hum. "This love is not just for today. It is for everyone you meet. It is meant to shine." The villagers exchanged glances, feeling the gravity of her words. Hope flickered like the warming glow of candles, igniting their spirits. But what did that mean, to carry this love beyond these walls? The questions hung in the air, weaving uncertainty and excitement together. Kendra, still wrapped in her moment of grief and joy, spoke up, her voice trembling yet bold. "But how? How do we carry what feels so big? It can't just be our individual lives. The crowd murmured, contemplating her question. Mary sensed their collective doubt and weighed her response carefully, drawing from the depths of her heart. It starts with small acts, dear Kendra. A smile to a stranger, a helping hand to a neighbor in need. Love multiplies when shared. At that, the light above burst into a radiant spray, illuminating the faces of those around her. The seraphim swirled tighter, almost as if to amplify her words. Each heartbeat seemed to sync with the celestial dance, infusing the space with an infectious fervor. Suddenly, Thomas stepped forward, his spirit now ready to share the burden of his fears. I've held back so much, anchored by worry and doubt. What can a single person like me do in a world that feels so broken? Mary met his gaze, holding it steady with unwavering conviction. You, Thomas, are a light bearer. Your story, your journey, your vulnerability, these are the threads that connect all of us. You have the power to inspire others to step into their light. Do not underestimate the impact of one heart ignited by love. Thomas nodded slowly, digesting her words. A spark flickered in his eyes as he envisioned the possibilities. Around them, whispers of agreement swept through the congregation. It was a chain reaction, a realization that together, they were more than just individuals. They were a community, a force infused with divine purpose. In this dance, Mary continued, we become conduits of transformation. With every kind act, we reflect the love that we receive today. Imagine the ripples, how they reach out, how they connect. The light shimmered with an intensity that seemed to pulse in rhythm with their hearts. A divine urgency filled the air. It was calling them to act, to be the hands and feet of love in a world yearning for healing. Yet, amid their rising hopes, a thought lingered at the back of Mary's mind. As the light wavered, she could sense a deeper message hidden within the brilliance, hinting at greater challenges to come. What happens next? She wondered aloud. Is there more ahead that we cannot yet see? In that moment, the shimmering glow shifted once more, outlining a new path forward that lay steeped in mystery. Deep within her spirit, Mary understood that while the call was clear, the journey would require bravery and sacrifice. What awaits us on this divine path? Echoed a voice from the back, enkindling the urgency of their quest. And with that lingering question, their sacred endeavor unfolded a journey not just of love received, but of love shared and transformed. An adventure awaited, a call to rise and meet the challenges that would take them beyond their familiar walls. Would they be bold enough to step through and embrace the unknown? Their answer awaited, stretched on the horizon beyond the golden portal. As the light continued to dance above, threads of hope wove between the villagers, binding them tighter in a tapestry of purpose. Each individual transformed, for they understood the gravity of the moment and the call to venture beyond their known world. Mary's heart swelled with anticipation. Together, we will face whatever lies ahead, she declared, her voice steady and infused with unwavering faith. The crowd responded with murmurs of agreement, a chorus of commitment blossoming in the sacred air. And there, in that charged atmosphere, a ripple of inspiration surged. Kendra, wiping tears from her eyes, felt the weight of her doubts lightening. If we carry this light into our lives, what if it reaches someone in need? She mused aloud, her fear melting into courage. Exactly. Mary beamed, her spirit resonating with the truth of Kendra's words. Imagine the difference we can make. One act of love can light up dark corners. One smile can shatter despair. Thomas stepped back, feeling the collective energy uplift him. What if this is exactly what our community needs? He ventured, excitement shining in his eyes. We could create a wave, gather others who feel lost, give them hope. The crowd began to stir with visions of outreach, ideas sparking like fireflies in the twilight. They could visit the elderly, help children with their studies, gather supplies for those in need. Let us start small, but let us work in teams, suggested Mary, her heart racing with anticipation. Let us spread this love, collect those who are burdened, and show them the power of belonging. Love is not a solitary act. It is a shared experience. A wave of fervor washed over the congregation, and one voice rose above the rest. I will bake bread to share. We can host gatherings, called out an elder in the back, her face glowing with new purpose. And I will lead discussions in the park. Came another. Excitement buzzed through the air as they began to share their plans and dreams, each one becoming a stepping stone on their journey. Yet, amid their dreams, Mary's thoughts drifted. Would they be ready for the hardships that might accompany these good intentions? Her heart whispered of potential trials and grief, weaving in with the hope that sparkled around them. As if sensing her inner turmoil, the light above flickered momentarily, casting shadows of doubt that made her pause. She could feel something deeper at play, a realization that challenges would forge their faith. While we rejoice in this call to action, she expressed softly, we must remember that love is not just joyous, it can also be tested. It is in those moments we will need to hold on tightly to each other and to the light. A silence settled, reverent and heavy with understanding. Thomas frowned, considering. But what kind of challenges, Mary? What if we face rejection? What if our efforts are met with resistance? Those are real fears, she acknowledged, placing a gentle hand on his shoulder. Yet the essence of our journey lies in trusting the divine hand that guides us. We shall be strengthened through trials. We shall learn to love harder, dig deeper. As she spoke, the light began to pulse steadily, illuminating their resolve anew. And we will face them together. That is the promise of community. The light we carry is rooted in faith and unity. An energy stirred, strong and thrilling, weaving through each heart. How could they not be ready to embrace whatever lay ahead? But just as hope lingered, uncertainty also hovered, an echo of a foreboding question. Will we have enough love to last through the trials? With that delicate question, the light above shifted once again, casting a golden glow that hinted at the journey still uncharted. Their hearts swelled with love, but shadows loomed, waiting to test their faith. What awaited them beyond the next bend? Only time would reveal the depths and heights of their courageous steps into the unknown. As morning dawned, the village awoke to a glow that permeated the air. It felt different, like a warm hug enveloping every heart. The light shimmered with promise, and as the villagers gathered for their daily routines, whispers of excitement mingled with songs of hope. Mary led the way to the small community center, the chosen place of their first gathering. Her heart raced, a steady rhythm set against the backdrop of nature awakening around them. She could feel the spirit of unity urging them forward, even as apprehension lingered at the edges of her mind. Remember, she said as they entered, this is a safe space for each of us. We share our dreams and fears openly. Let us lift and sustain one another as the light has shown us. The large wooden table at the center was adorned with flowers, a symbol of their blossoming dreams. Kendra greeted her with a steaming cup of tea, a gesture of warmth. This will help ease the nerves, she smiled, her courage shining brighter through the mist of uncertainty. The room filled slowly, voices chiming softly like chimes in the wind. Thomas settled at the end of the table, a notebook before him. What do you think will happen next? He posed to the group, his eyes seeking answers. How do we navigate through challenges when we spread our love? A hush fell over them, the questions surfacing their collective fears again. The reality of the unknown loomed large, yet Mary sensed the threads of hope stitching their hearts. I have a thought. An elderly man named Jasper spoke up, his voice calm and steady like a flowing brook. Every journey has trials. But remember the parable of the sower? Not all seeds sprout in good soil, yet each one carries the potential for growth. Even if we face challenges, we will still plant seeds of love. The room resonated with nods and murmurs of agreement. Jasper's words danced among them, rekindling a flicker of faith. Mary felt the heaviness inside her begin to lift. Let's not forget, she added, What we carry is a beacon of hope. If one small act of kindness can create ripples, think of what a community united in love can achieve. Together, we can cultivate a garden of faith where every heart has a place. Kendra piped in, a spark of inspiration igniting in her chest. And just as we sow seeds, we must also nurture them. It means showing up even when it's hard, standing firm in our love amidst the storms. Their gathering transformed into a tapestry of laughter and inspiration as plans began to take shape. Each person suggested ideas, gardening projects, community dinners, and visiting shelters. Fear ebbed away, replaced by the possibility of love reaching every corner. Yet in the shadows of joy, the air thickened again with an unspoken worry. A subtle breeze stirred, whispering secrets of trials yet to come. Would their strength hold amidst doubt? Would their hearts endure when the world felt heavy? Will our light endure? Thomas pondered aloud, when storms roll in and darkness tries to snuff it out. Perhaps, Mary replied, now mindful of the collective pulse in the room. This is where our love transforms. It expands, and we learn resilience. Our shared faith is unbreakable when we lean into each other. We can face anything together. As the sun climbed higher in the sky, the golden light cast through the windows, illuminating them all. They smiled, feeling the warmth of connection deepen. Yet, lingering questions remained, faces that envisioned trials ahead, unsure of the weight they would carry. What would come of their newfound resolve? How would they navigate the tough terrain before them? But something within whispered divine intervention awaited them, lie just beyond the horizon. With hearts filled with hope, they stepped further into the light. What awaited them just beyond that bend? Only time and faith would unfold the next chapter of their journey. In the days that followed the gathering, the village pulsed with a serene energy, as if the light from that morning had woven itself into the very fabric of their lives. Each day began with the sun painting the sky in hues of gold and lavender, a reminder of their shared purpose. Mary felt a deepening sense of unity among them, as if every heart beat in time with the same divine rhythm. But beneath this newfound joy, the winds began to shift. An unusual heaviness settled, a subtle tension threading through conversations and laughter. The villagers, while filled with hope, felt whispers of doubt edge closer. They continued to plan, but an undercurrent of fear lingered. One evening, while the sun dipped below the horizon, casting a beautiful glow across the fields, Mary gathered a few villagers in her yard. Tonight feels different, she whispered, her voice heavy with concern. The evening air was thick with unspoken worries, and she sensed the weight pressing down on them like the clouds before a storm. We've come so far, Kendra chimed in, her hands nervously fidgeting with the hem of her sweater. But are we truly ready to face what's ahead? Jasper, who had been listening quietly, finally spoke. Every seed planted must endure the harshness of the soil before it can bloom. Faith is like that, too. We must hold on to it, even in the darkness. His eyes sparkled with the wisdom of experience. Let's prepare our hearts. The trials may be fierce, but God shines brightest when shadows loom. Thomas nodded in agreement, but worry flickered on his face. But what if we fail? What if our light is not enough? Therein lies the test of our love, Mary gently reassured. Faith doesn't mean we struggle. It means we learn to trust each other and the God who leads us. We won't travel this path alone. She glanced around, seeking the reassurance in their eyes. Their heartfelt discussion dove deeper into the fears they buried, inviting fear to the table as an unwelcome guest. Yet, it also ignited a flicker of hope. Each voice shared stories of courage and moments where love had triumphed over despair. They were not just sharing dreams anymore. They were fortifying a bond strong enough to withstand any trial. Perhaps, Kendra suggested, her voice rising with newfound determination, we should prepare ourselves spiritually. Let's meet more often, not only to plan, but to pray together. We need to build a strong foundation, deeply rooted in faith. Everyone nodded, buoyed by this thought. This wasn't merely a physical journey, it was a spiritual pilgrimage, one that would seal the unity of their hearts and the vision planted within them. Each prayer would be like another layer of soil, nurturing all that they aimed to sow. As they concluded their meeting, the stars began to twinkle above them, an invitation for dreams beyond this world. The villagers felt a wave of peace wash over them, luminous and gentle, as if a celestial embrace was wrapping around their commitment. They shared quiet moments of prayer beneath the starlit sky, their voices weaving together like an intricate tapestry of hope against the night. Yet, as they felt this weight lift, a whisper in the air hinted of tests to come. Would their newly fortified faith hold true when the storms began to rage? What comes after the prayers? Mary asked softly, looking into the night sky. What awaits us when we step into the deeper waters? In that moment, a shooting star arced across the heavens, a signal of promise, of destiny's unfolding. It carried their silent prayers, urging them ever onward. And with that, the essence of their journey shimmered with possibility. What would challenge their spirits next? Only the unfolding mystery would reveal the path ahead. The days that followed were both a blessing and a mystery. Morning dawned like a soft whisper, the sun breaking free from the horizon, as if it knew of the anticipations fluttering in their souls. With each sunrise, the villagers found new strength in their union, voices rising like incense in prayer, hearts racing in anticipation of the journey before them. Yet shadows lingered. As darkness fell, thoughts of uncertainty crept into their lives, a constant reminder of the storms that awaited. Their gatherings transformed into sacred spaces charged with a sacred tension. Each moment was laced with hopeful energy and whispers of worry that danced just out of sight. Mary observed this shift closely, each flicker of doubt brushing against the glow of their fervent faith. One night, while the moon cast a silvery hue upon their gathering, Mary spoke. Let's call upon our stories. Each of us carries a piece of faith woven with trials. Let us share them. Kendra stepped forward first. I remember a time of great loss. I thought I was alone, but my neighbors came. Together we prayed. In that sobbing season, I found strength where I thought there was none. As she spoke, her eyes glistened with fresh tears, tinged with the warmth of that memory. Thomas shared next, almost hesitating but resolute. I've battled fear for a long time. The night was dark, and the past haunted me. But in that darkness, I felt God's hand guiding me back to light. Just a flicker, but it was enough. The villagers nodded, understanding the weight he carried and the glimmer of hope he had grasped. With each account, the invisible threads connecting them tightened their hearts in harmony, like a choir echoing the same song. The doubt that had clung to their spirits began to dissipate, replaced by a shared energy, an electricity crackling with potential. Mary felt the bond grow firmer, woven with threads of resilience. Jasper leaned forward with a soft smile. These stories show us that every moment of doubt can transform when we lean into faith. The path ahead may be veiled, but the trials will only refine us. Our love, grounded in these experiences, will be our guiding star. And in his words was a quiet assurance, a lighthouse amidst tumultuous seas. It was then Kendra raised her hand, the possibility of prayer radiating from her. Can we seal this together? Let us do something bold. Let us meet at dawn, before the sun awakens fully. A community prayer, seeking strength and clarity. The spark in her voice met with murmurs of agreement. Excitement mixed with feelings at the idea, but soon it turned into a joyful chorus. They set a time, their shared determination blooming like wildflowers on a sunny day. When morning arrived, the villagers gathered as the sky began to blush with shades of coral and gold. The air was electric, vibrating with anticipation. Standing together in a circle, they lifted their voices, threading their gratitude and supplications into the early light. Each word formed a bridge, carrying their hopes to the heavens. As they prayed, the sun broke over the horizon, spilling radiant light upon them. It was as if divine warmth enveloped their spirits, igniting an inner flame of courage and hope. They felt empowered, roots deeply planted in love and support. But, as they stood basking in the sun's embrace, an unanticipated gust swept through, chilling them momentarily. It was a reminder, a shake of reality. Would their prayers be enough? Would they truly face the growing shadows of doubt with unwavering hearts? With that question, the sun glimmered just a little brighter, as if beckoning them forward into the unknown. The congregation felt a stirring, a divine whisper assuring them that this journey was unfolding, layer by layer, bringing them closer to their intended path. What more would they discover when the winds began to howl, when challenges of faith pressed heavily against their wings? The day had begun, but a greater calling awaited. As the sun fully ascended, illuminating the village in a benevolent glow, Mary felt the weight of a powerful awakening in her heart. The shared prayers of the night echoed like music in her soul, creating a harmony that resonated across the congregation. Uniting them was a divine thread, binding their spirits together in love and hope. The villagers dispersed after their morning gathering, yet the air buzzed with purpose. Each carried a flicker of the light they had received, ready to bridge their newly kindled faith with action. Mary walked through the village, her spirit rejuvenated. She sensed their energy pulsing together, fueling dreams of outreach and connection. But an undercurrent of doubt whispered in her heart, lingering like an unfurling shadow behind their hopeful smiles. Days flowed into a rhythm of unity. They hosted community events that blossomed into a garden of generosity and goodwill. Children laughed while painting murals on the local walls, their joy contagious. Volunteers filled baskets of meals for those in need, sharing smiles and encouragement. Yet, amid their joyful labor, whispers of worry returned, clouding some hearts with trepidation. Mary stood in the church, eyes closed, seeking divine clarity. The warmth enveloped her, embracing her with stillness. "Lord," she prayed, tears cascading gently down her cheeks, "let this love we cultivate guide us through the storms that await. Equip us to stand as one, whatever may come." As she stepped back into the sunlight, she felt an unshakable peace settle, and a quiet sound in her heart reassured her. The challenges would come, but so would the strength to meet them. But even as their efforts grew, the winds of change howled louder. A few days later, news arrived that sent tremors through the heart of the village. A storm warning had been issued. A fierce storm was brewing, threatening their homes and hearts alike. Anxiety filled the air, mingling with the charged energy they had woven together. Mary felt her heart race. This was their moment of truth. Their gathering that evening carried a weight different from the joyful encounters before. Each face shadowed with concern, voices hushed under the weight of uncertainty. "Will our light hold in the darkness?" someone asked quietly, breaking the silence. Mary felt the tremor of fear ripple across the congregation. "Together, we will be steadfast," she replied, her voice steady as she fought to maintain her composure. "Our love has built a foundation stronger than storms. We need to stand strong in our faith and hold each other tightly. Let us prepare for the worst, but trust in the divine," Jasper added, an anchor amid the rising tides of worry. "We will not be swept away by circumstance." With resolve, they formed a plan. They fortified homes, sandbagged vulnerable areas, and huddled close together, ready to weather the storm as one. As the winds roared and the sky darkened, Mary squeezed the hands of her neighbors. "This is where we show what we're made of. We are love in action." The tempest unleashed its fury upon them, battering the village with relentless rain and wild winds. Inside the church, the villagers clung to each other amid flickering candles, whispering prayers as the storm raged outside. It felt surreal, as though they were at the center of a whirlwind. Yet surrounded by this community-esque love, they felt rooted like trees against the gale, unwavering. Hours passed, and then, in a pause that felt miraculous, the storm began to abate. Confusion and awe threaded through the congregation. Slowly they emerged into a world washed anew. The storm had passed, leaving behind a transformative calm. The sun broke through the clouds as if to bless their resolve, casting vibrant rainbows across the drenched landscape. In that moment, they stood together, arms intertwined, breathing in the scent of earth freshly washed. Mary gazed upon her neighbors, who were now more than compatriots, they were family, all bound by love and resilience. The storm had tested them, yet they emerged even stronger, hearts alight with gratitude. Though the storm was fierce, Mary proclaimed, her voice rising above the gentle aftermath, "We became the embodiment of love." Today, we witness together how faith, united in purpose, can overcome any trial. Cheers erupted, smiles of relief mingled with tears of joy. They hugged, laughter bubbling up as they shared stories of bravery, the way they had looked after one another, offered safety, and shared a meal. In the warm aftermath of the storm, they resolved to spread their light further. Their love birthed hope in others, igniting compassion throughout the village for those still weathering their own storms. Hand in hand, they ventured out, eager to embrace the world and continue to share the light they had cultivated. The trials had sharpened their spirits, transformed them into a united force of love that would resonate long into the future, nurturing even the most resistant hearts. Standing amidst the gathered villagers, Mary felt it an unbreakable bond of love, woven through prayer and shared experiences. The journey ahead would be different, but they were ready to face whatever came next, rooted in faith and anchored by their collective hope. Now is the time to carry this light. You need to subscribe now to our channel so you don't miss the next exclusive faith stories. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm and help spread this light further. Comment below with your reactions and testimonies about this ending. Let your voice be heard. And share instantly this video with at least 5 friends who truly need to see this manifestation. This is the moment to show your support. Let us continue to shine brighter together as true servants of God.